What's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing good. I'm Anthony K. Thomas, and welcome to Wrestling with Rumors. Welcome, everyone. So, before we get into everything that is this week's episode of Wrestling with Rumors, like I say every week, every rumor that I'm about to read is exactly what it is. It is a rumor. We can speculate as wildly as we want, but until that rumor is proven fact, true by the person, company, or promotion the rumor is about, they remain what they are, rumors. So, with that, let's get into a new episode of Wrestling with Rumors. Starting with Joey Votes, noted that WWE's upcoming tour of Mexico City in September is being used as a test run for a future PLE there in 2027 or 2028. The promotion apparently has some ideas for what they want to do there. I think when you look at sometime between next year and the year that follows, 27, 28, I think future PLE or PLEs that can be done in Mexico City. I think one of them would be like a clash in Mexico, like a clash in Mexico City, a Money in the Bank, a just spitballing here, let's see, a clash in Mexico City, a Money in the Bank, a Elimination Chamber, possibly there as well. There are quite a few PLEs in the middle of the year, possibly even like one of the big ones, like a Royal Rumble or a Survivor Series, or a SummerSlam could be done in Mexico City. So I think that this test run will go successfully when we get it when we look in September, and especially since they're doing it in September, which is the same time that um, it, which especially while they're doing it in September, which works out perfectly for everything that's happening within under the umbrella of September. Um, Triple Mania being the first 2 night Triple Mania, of course it's got to be 2 nights. Um, but yeah, now that they're doing that, I mean it's interesting how Triple Mania is going to be Friday and Saturday. I mean Friday and Sunday. Interesting how they're doing it like that. But yeah, but because with Triple Mania that's happening there in September and the tour that they're going, I think everything is just going to work out really well, and they'll start thinking of some ideas for PLEs that will happen sometime between 27 and 28. But I think the earliest is the better, so I think 27 on that. Joy Votes also says the reason Netflix doesn't have the complete Raw archive yet is because they are doing a gradual rollout due to the deal between the two sides lasting so many years. So they're taking their time. I mean, I know a lot of people would just prefer to just be all out like that, but yeah, they're just taking their time with how they're handling that. So according to WrestleVotes, she will be back likely around SummerSlam. This week before or at SummerSlam, Morgan will be defending her title on the show against Queen of the Ring winner Io Sky. So in this particular rumor, they are talking about Stephanie Vaquer. So Stephanie Vaquer should be back around either the week of SummerSlam or the day of SummerSlam. So it's possibly whether night one or night two of SummerSlam, whenever Liv Morgan's match between Io Sky for that women's world title takes place, it will be her first title defense. So I think within that first title defense that she will have, she will lose the in her first title defense with Stephanie Vaquer costing her the match, giving Io Sky an opening to take advantage and take the win for the women's world championship. I think that's how it's going to go down for SummerSlam. That is a prediction right there. But I'll talk more about predictions in the coming weeks as we get closer to SummerSlam. Brian Alvarez brings word that while he doesn't know for certain himself, the belief from those within the industry is that Keith Lee is retired and has wrestled his last match. That last match being in AEW. Keith Lee hasn't been seen on TV or near a wrestling ring for over a year. It's getting close to 2 years. So I think especially with things that are going on with him personally at home and how things and just uh, with the divorce between him and Mia or Michin. Um, and not that I don't think it ended badly. I just think it was just over, and they just came to a mutual agreement or something like that. But I think with that, and I just think him just doing what he needs to do personally. I think he's looking at wrestling as a thing he's just done with. I think he's been away from it too long, and he might just be retired. Or it might be a medical thing where he's unable to get back into the ring. There are several ways to speculate what is going on with Keith Lee and why he could be or already is retired from the ring. But if he is indeed retired, I would just say thank you to Keith Lee for everything he did in NXT, every all the potential in the world that he had on in the main roster of WWE, but did not get utilized in the right way. But would have been great on the WWE main roster for what he was able to do in the moments that he was able to have in AEW, and just all around as a professional wrestler. Would just say thank you for everything he has contributed and left in the middle of that squared circle. According to Self-Made Pro, AEW is already making creative plans for Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Now, while it's not official and we can't and cannot confirm nor deny if uh if or when Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods show up in AEW, the wild speculation is that is where they are going to be headed next. It is the likelihood that that is where they'll be headed next. There are people within AEW who are excited for that possibility of them being in AEW. Tony Khan himself has spoken about it. So even with everything that is being spoken from people inside and outside of AEW, all we can really do is speculate wildly on this, and the if is remains a very big word around them when it comes to if they come to AEW or if they decide to hit the independent circuit for a while. It's really up to them. They hold all the cards right now, and what they plan to do outside of WWE to really be able to cut loose and be able to have that creative control and freedom to do what they want. I am looking forward to that once they're able to do that. So all I can say is good things for both Xavier Wood and Kofi Kingston for what they do inside that squared circle, wherever that happens to be. Speculations about Jordan Grace's WWE future intensified the answer to a question about her from a recent Fightful Q&A. Sean Ross Sapp said Grace is at TV sometimes, but WWE has no vision for her. He finished by saying creative has no idea what to do with her, and pointing out Grace hasn't been on main event in like a month either. Sapp's co-host John Alba was really curious what happened after the former TNA standout came in with a ton of hype. This has nothing to do with Jordan Grace's this is not Jordan Grace's fault. This is all on creative and how they are dropping the ball with Jordan Grace. She came in with a ton of hype. We were all excited to have her in um, coming in from TNA to WWE. She came in with everything, and the fact that they haven't really been able to do anything with her, that she's been sidelined and or used on main event, is downright criminal. And it's a shame for a company like WWE, although it's not uncommon. But creative needs to be working a little bit harder, or get some people on creative who know what they're doing when it comes to Jordan Grace, that can see the vision, because fans across this world can see the vision for Jordan Grace. You take what she did in TNA and you up it by 10, and you allow her to be who she is in that ring, out that ring, and just let her kill it, because she can kill it. She can deliver. She is a top main event star. There, it just creative is just blowing it right now. They're dropping the ball. And if it gets to a point, which what it feels like, that she ends up getting released from WWE, that is all on WWE, because that is all on WWE that they weren't able to think of anything creative for her, because there are so many opportunities for her in WWE that I could even think of. I'm not going to lay them out right now. So I want to try to keep this show at a reasonable time. But yeah, there's a lot that they could be done. So creative. So anyone, if anyone from WWE is watching, which hey, thank you for watching, but also step it up, because Jordan Grace is a hell of a talent and brings value to any women's locker room she's in, and she's bringing the value in, but you just need to open your eyes and see the value and worth in Jordan Grace. Fightful says there is an internal belief in WWE that Richard Holiday will sign with them. PW Insider heard that WWE was actually planning to bring him for a WWE ID reveal during WrestleMania 42 week, even though it didn't end up happening. It's expected that Holiday will start in NXT. That's what I was thinking when things started getting louder about Richard Holiday possibly signing with WWE. That is where I saw him going first, is NXT. So hopefully that's I'm hopefully if he does sign with WWE, I look forward to seeing what he does on NXT, because he's incredible. He's a hell of a talent in the ring. He's had some great matches on the independent, especially being in those matches being part of GCW with Killer Cross, especially. Go online, go on YouTube, check those out. He's had some great matches, and the promos he does some good promos as well. So I think he will definitely make a great fit at being a part of NXT. I just hope it actually happens, because he deserves that opportunity to show what he can do on a much bigger stage in front of a much larger audience. The Wrestling Observer newsletter says the belief is that Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins will be the main event of the second night of SummerSlam on Sunday, August 2nd. That makes sense to do it the second night. Like the first night of night one main event should absolutely be CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, 100%. And then night two should be Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, because the next night, the night after SummerSlam, we got Monday Night Raw. So anything that happens night two between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, we're going to be very interested. We're going to be very curious, and going to have a little bit of a hard time waiting to see the fallout from that. So to have that match right after Raw, and we go right into Raw the next night, we get that fallout instantly, and that's great. So I love that. That is the possibility that main event will be that Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns will be night two, because there's going to be a lot of. I feel there's going to be a lot that's going to happen during that match, and possibly even after that match. And the fallout from it, we need to see immediately. And the fact that could how that works, and we get that the next night on Monday Night Raw. Yes, absolutely. One last thing that I want to talk about is that this past Friday, before a few hours before SmackDown, uh, Adam Pearce made an announcement that Rhea Ripley will be unable to compete at SummerSlam and defend her WWE Women's Championship. Excuse me. But saying that while she is recovering and she's getting very close to returning, it is not going to reach the timeline in time for her to defend her WWE Women's Championship at SummerSlam. So they decided, instead of Rhea Ripley just dropping the championship and then just picking a new WWE Women's Champion, they're going to put someone in her place, an interim WWE Women's Champion. And it is going to be decided at SummerSlam in a ladder match. So for the next couple of for the weeks that lead up to SummerSlam, there are going to be qualifying matches for the women to qualify into that ladder match. So far, we have Jade Cargill and we have oh damn, Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton are the first two who qualified into this women's championship ladder match. Now, Jade Cargill got in by disqualification because of the because of the rivalry that is really starting to heat up fairly quickly between Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte Flair cost Nia Jax the match and instantly putting Jade Cargill into that women's ladder match. Now, I believe the same thing. Now, Nia Jax telling Adam Pearce about it, how it's unfair. Totally agree with her on that. Is giving her a second chance to qualify into the match, as she will face Charlotte Flair to qualify into the ladder match. Now, I feel that I think it's setting us up for eventually Charlotte Flair and when Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax have this match, Jade Cargill is going to do the same thing. Now it's whether either it's going to be a double take on Nia Jax, get disqualified, and it puts Charlotte Flair into the match, or the opposite. Now, I think it's going to be the first. I think it's going to be the first thing I said, that it's going to that Jade Cargill is going to do what Charlotte Flair did, and it's going to get Charlotte Flair put in the match, and then and then Nia Jax is is just a is just fallen victim to this rivalry that's going on between Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair. But all these women that will get qualified into this will be in a ladder match, and then that ladder match will take place at SummerSlam, and the winner of that ladder match will become the interim WWE Women's Champion. And then once Rhea Ripley is free and clear and all healed up, we will have a match between the interim WWE Women's Champion and the current WWE Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. Those two women will have a match to determine the one true WWE Women's Champion. Now essentially the woman who holds the interim WWE Women's Champion is basically a long-term number one contender for the WWE Women's Championship. And then when Rhea Ripley is clear and free to come back, they'll have the match, determine who is the WWE Women's Champion. That's how they're gonna do it. Usually, it's if the person can't compete, if the man or woman gets injured while the champion can't defend the championship, you drop the championship, you determine a new champion, case closed. And then when that person comes back, if the GM wants to give that person who had to relinquish the title a shot at the championship, clear the air once and for all. That is not how we're doing things. It's not uncommon for WWE to do things like this. Hell, AEW does things like this at times as well. So it is not uncommon for any wrestling promotion to put in an interim champion. I mean, doing that is also saying that the person that is champion is almost cleared and is almost healed up, but just needs a little bit more time. So that could possibly be the situation. Either way, this is where we're at with it. It is what it is. Oh, some people are not going to like what WWE has decided to do here. Some people are good with it. You know, you can't really satisfy or make everybody happy. It really just is what it is. You just got to stick to your guns about whatever decision you make. But yeah, that's just is what it is in that point. So, but overall, looking forward to SummerSlam. I'm very interested in who's going to be the interim WWE Women's Champion, and that ladder match. I'm looking forward to that ladder match as well. I feel like they're going to put a good group of women into that match, and it should be a good women's championship match, whether it's night one or night two. And SummerSlam is really starting to shape up for what it is. Um, and I'll talk more about SummerSlam during the prediction show. But for now, I am Anthony K. Thomas, and this has been Wrestling with Rumors. Appreciate all you for watching, for listening. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all new episodes of Wrestling with Rumors. Rumor of the day drops. Go ahead and hit a thumbs up. Leave a comment. And hope everyone who's watching has a good, fun, and safe week. Don't forget to take care of yourselves, and I will see you all on that next one. Peace, y'all.